experiences with the afterlife. Yeah, this part should be recorded, Kat. Um, Fortunate to have had several experiences with the afterlife. I'm not sure how many of you may have also had similar experiences, but for those who haven't, it is the great unknown, so that's why I figured I could let you know what it's been like for me. Most people with whom I've shared these experiences find them comforting, reassuring, and helpful. Since I was a child, I have had an innate sense of connection to the divine, especially in nature. My family did not share my religious bent. When I was about 5, I went to a vacation Bible school that was in the neighborhood. And we had just moved there. My brother was a baby, and a neighbor recommended it, so I went. Well, I came home talking excitedly about my guardian angels. So they quickly pulled me out of that. I still had my own private spiritual life. Like when I was 7 and I was walking in the woods by a stream, I had a feeling of being one with the whole universe, connected to the trees, the sky, the water, everything. It was just amazing oneness. Then when I was in my mid to late 20s, I went through a very tough time. I had given myself totally to my first husband, felt that I was not as important as he, silenced my voice, and yet thought that we were very happy and in love. Boy, was I naive. But then he betrayed my trust. My husband cheated on me. My life seemed meaningless then, so I planned to kill myself with sleeping pills and alcohol. First I bought a bottle of Sominex, and then we went to a bar where I drank quite a few Black Russians. And once we got home, I took as many sleeping pills as I could manage. About 30 I thought might do enough. And as I lay there waiting for it to be over, I felt myself leave my body into the darkness, moving toward a light. As I approached the light, I realized that it was made up of beings of light. These beings were made up of energy that was all connected, and each of them rose up from the entirety of the light, sort of like the slow motion drop of water that rises up from the quantity of water. Individual, at the same time, still connected to the whole. These beings and the place felt very familiar. Home. I felt such perfect peace and love with them, and I was also a being of light. It's hard to explain how powerful this sense of belonging, peace, and love was to experience. This seemed to be who we all are, who we're meant to be, our essential nature. It was wonderful, and I drank it in deeply. So glad to be there. But then they let me know that it was not my time, that I had much to do in my life. I didn't want to leave this beautiful place of light and peace, love and acceptance, but suddenly there I was, back in my body, throwing up and crying. But I thought about this experience. The beings of light had told me telepathically that I had much to do. Well, I had never considered that my life had a purpose. So what the heck were they referring to? I went to a psychic astrologer to find out my purpose, and she said I was meant to help people who weren't able to help themselves.
Oh.
Okay. I also had gotten into counseling and found it was helpful for me, so maybe that's how I could help others. I found my self-worth and strength to live my life. So I have been a psychotherapist throughout my adult life, and that work gives my life deep meaning. I have come to believe that each of us, including every living creature, are parts of the whole universe. Like the cells in our bodies, just like various cells, say an eyeball cell or a stomach cell or a skin cell or a brain cell, each of us is different, but we have an important role to play in the functioning of the whole body. So as we open to finding our purpose, we can better fulfill it and be the best we can be to contribute to life. We fit in. We belong. We matter. We are those beings of light who rise up from the energy of the universe that I saw in my near-death experience. Other experiences with the afterlife came around the death of my mother in 2010. She had never gotten spirituality, despite her father's being a deacon in the Methodist Church and her brother's being a UCC minister, professor at a seminary, and author of many religious books. But she knew that I had a connection with the divine and that spirituality was important to me. So a night or two after she had passed, I had a dream that I think was a visitation. She and I were riding bicycles together. I definitely felt her presence. She was young and her hair was blowing in the breeze, and she happily said to me, "You are right, this is wonderful." So I knew that she was at peace and where she belonged. A few months later, I was at a Women's Sphere weekend retreat. Now, for those of you who don't know, Women's Sphere is an organization for women from the UU churches throughout Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts. At the beginning of the retreat, we introduced ourselves and shared what we were dealing with at that time. I shared that my mother had passed recently, so I was grieving her loss. Then we were led in a guided meditation. After the meditation, we took a break, and a woman from Westminster UU, whom I didn't know, came over to me and asked, "Are you the one whose mother recently passed?" I said, "Yes." And she asked, "Did her name begin with an E?" "Yes, her name was Evelyn." Next, she asked if I had a brother whose name started with an R. And I said, "Yes, his name was Richard, but we called him Dick." She said, "Well, I've never done anything like this before, and it kind of freaks me out. But your mother came to me during that meditation and wanted me to tell you that she was sorry that she wasn't able to be there for you during the time your brother was sick and dying." Wow. That blew me away. Dick had died after a 3-year battle with leukemia when he was 16 and I was 20, so my late teen years were lonely and troubling. I am very grateful for that message from beyond the grave. My mother in life had not been able to talk about emotional things, and it was amazing to hear something so real and supportive from her. She also had had a message from beyond the grave that she denied. After my brother had died, she was looking for a particular photo of him and couldn't find it. Then one night, at around 5 a.m., which happened to be the time of day that he passed, a book fell out of her bookcase and woke her up. And there was the picture she'd been looking for. This was an opportunity for her to open to things beyond her scientific approach to life. I think we probably all have such opportunities, and yet we also have a healthy skepticism, since there are people who may take advantage of our desire to connect with those who have passed. Therefore, we do need to discriminate between experiences that feel authentic versus those that seem more false. For me, that comes from a feeling inside, my reaction. If it feels calm and loving, then it seems to be real. Whereas if it feels like a desperate need, then it can be more false. I know that many of you are very skeptical about what I have shared here, and a healthy skepticism is a way we protect ourselves, so I would never deny your self-protection. Nevertheless, I am grateful to have had these experiences that bring me peace and self-assurance, and I believe this is a facet of my purpose in life to help others find that same peace, if they are open and ready for it. Blessed be. So our final hymn is, in the order of service, it says number 130, but it's actually